morning, listeners. Got tried the multicast. Apologies. Let me turn that off. Hopefully that works. Can you hear me all right? You can. Oh, someone's just muted me, I think. Haven't they? No?
Can you
hear me?
Yep.
Brilliant. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Good morning. We were just having a chat. Jalf, this is Simone. Simone, say hello.
Hi, Jalf. Welcome.
Simone,
Welcome to today's technical masterclass.
I can just about see your eye, Simone. Well,
Really? Huh? Is that your, actually that's your phone. Turn your phone on its side, Jalf.
My phone?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Can you see both of us now?
Yep.
Yeah. No. And actually, one thing that Amit always says to me is get Jalf to turn his phone on the side, because then you get to see the whole of Jalf. Anyway, good morning, listeners. We've got an extraordinary show for you this morning because Super Simone is here with us. And my keyboard doesn't want to type.
Your technical skills you're nailing it this morning.
Yeah. Simone, let's, before we get into the show, actually, we better do things properly. Otherwise, our producers will inevitably tell us off. Good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf
live on our weekly radio show right here on SpiceFM.
Each week we'll try and bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops. Or they're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. And we do help. So let's get the show on the road. And I need to see where my screens have gone. I know Simone's chuckling at my skills or lack of them when it comes to tech, but we're going with it. We're the king of the wingers, is what we are. All right. So we've got a super special guest on. We've got a couple of super special guests on, but the first one, gate crashing the whole of the show this morning, is the brilliant Simone. Simone, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Well, I'm a super special gate crasher, apparently. Lovely to be here today up in the Northeast. My name's Simone. I am the founder and CEO of WeArePower and Northern Powering Awards. So a pan-Northern community passionate about accelerating gender equality, wider inclusivity and social mobility in and from the north of England, collecting around 120,000 role models, all genders, all sectors, all levels of business, and generating so far 2.5 million in social value.
Brilliant.
That's quite succinct for me, wasn't it?
Jalf, what do you think about that pitch?
Wow, I'm stunned.
Am I hired?
100%.
So I was explaining, Jalf, who you are, because you looked quite glum in the beginning of this. In fact, you still look a bit glum now, to be honest. I was like, Jalf, and I was like, Simone, do you know Jalf? Because have you upset him? Or why? Anyway, I was trying to explain how you are the world's best restaurateur, how you are a brilliant person, and I'm your number one fan and follower, and I follow you everywhere, and this is my only time I get to spend with you, and we've been doing this for like 15 odd years, so on a Friday morning you and I can get to see each other. And I was explaining also how obviously not for the benefit of our owners at SpiceFM, but how we used to get a McDonald's, and
Yeah,
'cause
yeah, of course.
Simone said, "Oh, did Jaff miss the breakfast? Is he upset because he didn't get a breakfast? Because we've had breakfast, right?" And I said, "Oh, I used to pick them up for years. I used to pick them up, and we
Yeah,
used to come in, and I'm going to sneeze, so apologies because I don't know how to mute this silly phone thing that I'm on." Um, but anyway, Jeff, who are you? What do you do? Why
oh
do
my
you do
God,
it?
I've done it. I've said this on so many occasions, but Simone, I kind of come from a family of restaurateurs. We father started in restaurants in Newcastle in 1969. We love Newcastle. We're just really proud that we still have restaurants in the city. So we have 5 sites, and all we've tried to do is similar to yourself. I would say just try to improve the hospitality scene in the city, bring things that were not here that people can enjoy. We want to do things. If we do things good, we want to do things as good as it can be. So if you take our restaurants, if they sit in London or wherever it may be, they should still be able to stand on their own feet because we think that they're quite unique. They've set standards, and we that's our kind of philosophy to always kind of improve and get better and bring things that guests and the public of the region would embrace. So I think overall, that's what we do without kind of boring our listeners going on about the same thing that I've done over the years. But yeah, we're restaurateurs and we love what we do and we love what we've done to the city.
And I think hospitality industry is 92% of people have worked in the hospitality industry at some point in their career. It is the most transferable skill. It's the skill that can be used in any industry. It's a skill that in our business, customer satisfaction, customer service, user experience is the most important thing. That's what makes people come back. And I think in hospitality, it's as much about the people in your business as the amazing world-class food that you're delivering as well. That's what equally makes it special, isn't it? Is the people, and that's what makes it successful.
Yeah,
Oh, undoubtedly,
yeah,
undoubtedly. And Jeff is brilliant at what he does. I mean, he's quite conservative, understated, sits around in a hoodie. Underneath his hoodie, he's got like a Superman suit.
Ah,
He's got,
I saw a bloke sitting at the back.
yeah, he's definitely got a cloak. Definitely got a cloak. I know he's a superstar, and he's created the most successful, unique dining experience. Within won numerous awards. I appreciate that the listeners might have heard this, Jaff, but Gordon Ramsay's story, tell us that one because it's always a great
yeah.
one.
So, God, must have been a couple of years ago. We had a booking, and next thing you know, Gordon Ramsay kind of rocks up to the restaurant for a table for 6, and I mean he had an amazing time, but he's got some serious aura about him, Gordon Ramsay. I mean, when he came in, the whole restaurant turned, and the thing is, it was interesting. It was a Tuesday night. The restaurant was packed, and we were saying no to guests left, right, and center. And he kind of got up from his table and he said, "Oh my God, they're my cameraman. Is there no way that can you do something for them?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, leave it with us." And on another table, I had some family sat on, so I kind of kicked them off, fitted in his camera crew. But they had a really lovely
That was
time.
me.
Yeah,
Kicked me off the table. That's what he does.
yeah.
You know,
They had a
anyway.
really lovely time. He went into the kitchen to thank the chefs, and the chefs took the opportunity to take some pictures. But around about 8 months later, or maybe it's about a year later, Gordon Ramsay was in America and he won a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it was with GQ magazine in the States. And when he was on stage, they asked him, "Oh, so how do you celebrate such a big award?" And he said, "Well, look, if I was back in the UK, I would grab hold of every member of my family, jump in a helicopter, go to Newcastle upon Tyne, and go to a restaurant called Kai Kai." So we were really kind of proud of comments of that nature for someone like Gordon Ramsay. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, it's what we want to do with to every single guest that comes in, every single regular that we have. But I guess for him to make such a statement was just so well, we were just all really proud, and we just feel as everything that all the hard work and everything that you've done over the years for someone at his level to make those comments, you feel as though that yeah, we've done something of value and we've added something of value to the city and the region. So
it's priceless, isn't it?
Oh, no, but it's
priceless.
Of course it is. But Harrison Ford, every celebrity who's come here, every footballer. No, who am I? Here it's like as I say, I'm Jeff's pot wash and cover is what I am, and I'm proud to be because of how well he's done and how incredible his restaurant experiences are. So he's created not just one or two or three, it's a variety, it's evolved. He was the pioneer of street food. Started it off in a place called Carlisle, the and probably at the same time as the Roman Empire was there. It was the northern outpost of the Roman Empire at that time, and they weren't necessarily intrigued by Indian street food. But anyway, it's evolved. It's brilliant to see.
Secret? What's your secret sauce, so to speak, without it being an edible sauce?
We don't. I think secret is not a secret. Just openly, I think we want to just improve, be better than what you were yesterday. And if you can have that philosophy within the team, don't sit on any type of success or good things that come your way and feel as though that no, we need to improve and get better. I think that would take you to a good place.
Brilliant. Book me in for one.
Yeah. I was bringing. Actually, I'm gonna nip down with Simone before she gets on the train.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Going back to Liverpool.
Pop. Well, let us know if you're gonna pop in.
Yeah, we might struggle with time, but yeah, it was definitely the reason why I was trying to keep Simone, because I was going to send you a message saying we're going to the studio, but I was doing the hokey cokey, literally. Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we do this? Should we do that? Because Simone's time was quite tight, and actually we've got a guest on the show at 10:30 as well. So I was just mindful of having Simone on for the first 30 minutes, saying hello, and then I need to take Simone to Airview because it's one of the most exciting projects in the world right now. If you look at all of the trade deals and opportunities and everything else, so I'm just showing Simone off, and there's no one else that I get more pride than showing you off, Jaff. So it's brilliant what you've done. So thank you for that. We've got some headlines somewhere, and equally, Simone's a brilliant person. What Simone has done, I've had the privilege and honour of being an advocate, being an ambassador, supporting this brilliant cause and campaign, this movement, because it's aligned to what the passion that I have in making the world a better place. And Simone's definitely made the world a better place, not just for women, but regardless of whatever you identify as. There's some just bringing people and communities together.
And everyone is a role model. Someone, you said, have had pleasure in being like an advocate. No, like advocacy is a verb, right? Obviously, it's ongoing. Like you are constantly everything that you do. That's why we asked you to be one of our patrons of what we do, which is growing this community to create like a multiplier effect around advocacy. Advocacy is about curiosity. Advocacy is about supporting people on their way and their challenges, opening doors, creating opportunities, helping and supporting. But it's the deeds, not words piece, isn't it? We all have a pin badge, and we can all go like, this is me and this is what I represent and what I've worn, or whatever. You haven't got your pin badge on, by the way.
Neither of you. But, anyway.
But actually, the more we can spotlight and showcase the amazing, exactly as Ammar's just done for you, Jaff, you know, the doors that we can open, the conversations that we can have about people when they're not in the room. Advocacy is a true doing. It's a true kind of verb, and it's in action. Whether we're advocating for young people, whether we're advocating for businesses, whether we're advocating for men, for women, or however you identify, it's really important, but it's ongoing. It's not just a tick box.
It is. It is.
In this crazy world.
It is a crazy world, Jeff, and we were just, Jeff and I normally sort of talk about world affairs and conspiracy theories and a whole host of other things that we do. And anyway, we keep sort of. Yeah, we're very mindful of everything that's going on. I mean, it's brilliant to see a pope being elected. It'll be interesting to see how that shapes, that particular community. I have huge admiration and an appreciation of anybody that leads our religion and is looked upon. I mean, if you think about it, he's arguably one of the most, if not the most influential, proper influential person, right? Because it's like religion is distinctly different, with a bit of caveat, than politics or whatever it is. But having influence over 1.4 billion people is a big deal, right?
And it's how I think the nature of why discussing why this particular pope has been appointed or voted in the conclave was the hope that it will be the continuity of that, not going back in time, because I don't think we don't need to go back. We don't need to look back. It's how do we move forward, and how can some of those more wide and more open. But interestingly enough, I did see, because I don't think a lot of people knew a lot about him, and I think he was a bit of a ringer, a bit of an outsider. But he has openly talked and criticised President Trump about some of that. Which is interesting, which is because there's a fear, isn't it? We think, oh gosh, talk about conspiracy, American Pope. Oh my goodness, there's
never been an American Pope.
And it felt a little bit like, oh no, but it feels like hopefully he's not in that gang.
Yeah. Jeff?
Look, let's see what they can do. Unfortunately, I think he, like you said, he could be highly influential because of the number of followers that he has. But the reality is, what can they really do to the boys that are in real power? And that's the whole thing. I think it's identifying the guys that are in real power. And yeah, we can look at Trump as the leader of America, but there are kind of a lot of people behind Trump. There's a lot of people that don't want to show their faces, who are making the real decisions. But either way, whoever is in charge of the world at the moment, they're taking us into a horrible place. And the more good people that are there that can influence and maybe turn things around for the better, I think we all have to be behind that. And I think it's a matter of being able to cut it and identify who's who somehow. Because I think there's just sometimes you can't see the woods for the, what do they say? You can't see the woods for the
trees,
for the leaves.
Everything's just in the way, isn't it?
Actually, I prefer leaves. Yeah, I prefer the. You can't see the wood for the leaves as opposed to the trees. But yeah, no, it's a good point. Anyway, briefly. This week's headlines, some always a mixed bag of National Wealth Fund leads 1.35 billion deal for Northeast Renewable Energy Project, which is really, really interesting, isn't it? I mean, part of this is the infrastructure needs to be upgraded anyway, which is a good thing. The flip side of this is, where renewables are concerned, what is the impact of that on our bills and things like that? So it's a really interesting one. HMRC criticised for misusing terminology and don't get caught out campaign on tax scams. is under fire from tax experts for misusing terminology, potentially confusing taxpayers by labelling fraudulent or criminal activity as tax avoidance schemes, which is really interesting from a messaging perspective. And then the third one, which is probably incredibly relative to how us all in business, regardless of what your business is, are feeling, which is the UK consumer confidence plunges to lowest level since 2022 amid global and domestic pressures. And the UK consumer confidence has fallen, driven by global pressures like Trump's new tariffs, war in Ukraine. There was yesterday a good announcement. I think any of the announcements we need to decipher and interpret, because politicians saying one thing and what that translates into action may not always be the same. I say that allegedly with a caveat, given the fact that we're regulated. So just being very, very careful and cautious. But it is hard out there, Jeff. It's getting harder every week, isn't it?
I think so. When we're speaking to people in the industry, in the cutting edge of business, not statistics in the news and papers. When you speak to real business people, from wine suppliers to those that are supplying cleaning materials, from guests that are coming in from a range of different backgrounds. I think when they've just said now the economy seems to be, the confidence is lowest in 3 years, I would say from what we're experiencing, I would say the confidence is the lowest in probably 15 to 20 years.
I would say it's probably the lowest it's ever been. I would go so far. Yeah, because historically, right, there's always been a cliff edge. Yeah. So whenever there's a recession, right, it's almost like everyone's hey, and then you go and then you fall off it and you go, oh my gosh, right, it is what it is. This feels as if we've been walking into like as in, well, actually with open eyes. Yeah. I almost feel as if we've been going into something with open eyes where we are saying, right, this, let's throw something else at you. Let's throw something else at you. I mean, I know a couple of insolvency practitioners, and I found it so curious and coincidental that both of them, when I met them at two separate times, both of them said the Chancellor's keeping us in a job.
Yeah, well, it's a bit sad.
And both of them have never in their professional careers seen the level and depth of concern and businesses hitting the wall that would normally be viable businesses. Yeah. Because of the supply chain issues, the lack of supply, the cost fact that people aren't just prepared to pay. And all of this, you can keep saying we're a government of growth or a country for growth and we're doing all of these things, but underneath the table, you're kicking everyone and giving them, you're not just giving them, bruises, you're breaking their legs. I just find it a very curious approach.
And there's no end to it. Like you say, when we get to that edge, you're off it, and then there is only one way up. Yeah. And now there isn't, and there's nothing in sight. You talk about it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We have challenges. We're a micro business, and I was at a family event, and you're talking, you're like, oh, this has been impacted by what's happening in America. And they're like, how on earth can that be? And you say, well, because some of the businesses we're dealing with have got federal contracts. They can't work in an inclusion space, or they can't mention this word, or they can't do this. And you've got massive organizations out there that are just going, right. And then the domino effect of that is just, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And it's terrifying. And so we have to look and go, what is it? What are the opportunities? Are there opportunities? Is there an opportunity in a crisis like this to really change and make progress? Yeah. Because if we keep on waiting, we're not going to get to that point that you talk about where we go, right, we're there now, let's go onwards.
We're not. Anyway, thank you ever so much for gate crashing. We're going to have to get Simone in your restaurant as well and
absolutely.
showcase this. we're going to welcome Lisa on the show. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Simone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Simone.
Simone.
Thank you, Jalf. Bye.
Thank you.
Wonderful, the super Simone, yeah. And she's incredible. We're so privileged to have Simone on the show this morning as our guest. And it was fantastic. And we'll get a staged picture with us soon, Simone, is what we will do. But let's get Lisa in on the action. Lisa's been patiently or impatiently waiting for us. So thank you ever so much. Lisa, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Lisa.
Can you hear me?
We can
We
hear
can
you,
hear
but we
you.
can't see you, though. Oh, we can
Oh,
see you now. There you
am
go.
I here now? Oh,
Yes,
there.
yes, you are.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Brilliant. Thank you. And forgive us for sort of I realized you were joining us at various different times, and we are as eager as you to get you on the show, Lisa. We just our producers keep us to a tight schedule in regards to what we need to talk through, and Jamie would be incredibly upset if we didn't use all of his scripts and things. Anyway, here you are, a very incredibly warm welcome. Let's kick off. Let me stop sharing this wonderful screen and let's see you in person. Let's kick off by you introducing who you are, what you do, and why do you do it, Lisa?
Okay, good morning. So I'm Lisa Darwin. I am the business owner of FB Fashion Ball, which is a business fashion and lifestyle event that's been running, I don't say actually, for 27 years.
Wow.
So I am that old.
You started when you were 3.
Yeah, it's when I did my paper round as well when I was like 13. No, I'm kidding. But no, it started in Yorkshire. That's where I'm from. And it's just an event I absolutely love because it's all about purpose. So it brings business people together, covering all sectors, and we celebrate them through the Business Hero Awards. The event really is a black tie gala dinner. With the business awards, and my favorite part is the live fashion show in the second half of the event, which sees people like us, if we're feeling brave enough to get on that catwalk and choose your own charity and, like I said, walk with purpose. We've actually just moved the Leeds event to First Direct Arena 2 weeks ago, and it was a huge move for us, but the best decision. We had over.
Why was that, Lisa? Why did you move it, and why was it the best decision?
We've moved it because we love New Dock. We'd been there a very long time, but we have big dreams for the event in terms of growing it with the universities that are now involved and just kind of allowing more people to get involved. And it was a big task to go to an arena, a bit scary, but as a team, we did that, and the feedback's amazing. And it just means we can celebrate more people and have more people on that catwalk.
Brilliant. I mean, ABC's partnering up with you for your event that's happening in a couple of weeks' time. We're absolutely thrilled for you to be able to bring Fashion Ball, and I know that you hosted one here last year as well, and sadly I was unable to make it. I think Jalf would make a wonderful model. And I think we need to get. No, I say that with all sincerity. I'm sure, Jeff, did we not do something fashion orientated like 1964 or something?
No, I don't think so. I think the
Yeah, we
closest thing that we did, Ammar, is when it was Miss Newcastle and you were a judge.
All right, yeah.
And I kind of you had to sponsor different models. And I think it was 2 years in a row, the model that I sponsored won, right?
Wow.
But I think Ammar was on the judging panel though.
It wasn't a fix at all, was it? All right, great. Yeah.
No, but
Jeff, we'd love to have you as a model, so we can sign you up right now.
Yeah,
I think, Jeff, I think you need to get, because look, what Lisa's doing, and sorry, I'm jumping in here, is actually getting people out of comfort zones and growing and using this as a mechanism around inclusion and using it as a very special platform to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the invitation is literally open to anyone. We have as many men involved as women, all shapes, all sizes, all backgrounds, all levels in business, and it works. Well, the kind of everybody's thrown in at the deep end. They're all petrified, let's be honest. We're talking like accountants, solicitors, just stepping out of their day-to-day job. But they love this. They love it. And we've got professional stylists on board for fashion, hair and makeup. So they come out looking fabulous and feeling fabulous, and they're so proud as well when they've done that. So Jalf, you're in. We can't wait to have you in Newcastle in 2 weeks' time.
Why are you laughing, Jalf?
I'll most certainly come and support the event and check out all the other beautiful models doing the catwalk. But
I think I
definitely
mean, look, you're tall, dark, and handsome. I don't know politically whether you can say that anymore or not. But I just have live on air, and it's going to get recorded and everything else. But you are, Jeff. So let's get you on that catwalk, I think. And Lisa, have you met Jeff before?
I haven't, but I can't wait to start styling him.
Yeah. That's what. Anyway, I nearly said something totally watershed orientated as well, which is for a different time of day and show and all of that.
After 9:30.
I don't know what time the watershed is. Some of the nonsense that you see on television at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. is just. Anyway, I'm sounding like my late parents now. Lisa, let's just sort of why are you doing this?
Why do I do it? I've had 2 careers really, so I love business. I've got other businesses as well, like coaching business for women, and I love business, but I also love the creative side of things. So I love clothes. I am a shopping addict, but I'm qualified to do it, which my husband loves. So it's kind of.
Why does he love it? That's an interesting statement.
He doesn't love it, but I do put out my degree on the wall for being a stylist, qualified in London. I'm qualified to shop. That is that is the worst wife to have, probably.
But I think I think it's the best wife to have, right?
Are all wives not allowed qualified to shop?
We have a DNA. We have it in our DNA. This is what we can't get rid of it.
Sorry, Jeff, go. You were going to say.
I was just going to say that your husband's going to be so lucky because you're going to pick everything that he wears. He's going to look all coordinated and cool wherever he goes, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I styled him this morning.
Yeah.
He comes down dressed and I just look at him and he goes, okay, I knew this was a bad idea. And he goes back upstairs to get changed. But I just love making people feel amazing. And I love helping people. But I also love business. So bringing all these worlds together. And this is a really special, unique event because thank God, but there's no other events quite like it. It is chaos to organize. Maybe that's why no one does it, because everybody's a volunteer really, and you're managing maybe like in the arena 80 models, 70 student dancers, 40 students on team when we're training them. So hundreds and hundreds of businesses attending. So there's a lot to organize, and it is chaos, but it seems to work. So we're so excited to come into different cities and Newcastle. I love your city, by the way. I love
it's the region. Best city. It's the best city in the world.
Absolutely.
Can I say I am thinking of moving?
Well, you'd be very welcome. Yeah. And it's, I mean, the thing is, right, let's because I like asking these type of questions, and I've had these conversations, Lisa, because I was involved with Jeff's mentioned Miss Newcastle, beauty pageants, and modelling, and not me personally, just my business partner at the time, and she was a wonderful person, and we set out. I liked being first at things. I'm incredibly competitive, and we created the world's first formal modelling qualification. Right, because
You're
there wasn't.
Kidding.
No.
Wow.
And because there wasn't anything that that took a model through all of the elements of business and modeling. So catwalk, business setup, enterprise, makeup, art, like literally all of the modules and everything. Anyway, this was like decades ago. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because there's a real mixed view and mixed bag of people's perception around fashion and fashion shows and modeling and and then there was this big rise in, well, you shouldn't look like this to be a model. You could be anything. And yes, I get an element of that. And I think that's what you've done in what you've created, is an incredibly inclusive event. But I equally feel as if, that why should we be dismissive of individuals who do want to, feature in beauty pageants? It's incredibly hard work, and it takes a particular type of person and confidence to go through all of that. The level of training you've got to do. And actually, it's a very natural thing to do, right? As in, and when I say that, when I say that, it's a very natural thing to acknowledge beauty in the eye of a beholder and use whatever platform you can to do that. And yes, people's views of beauty have changed and it's evolved and things like that. Anyway, what was the point that I was trying to make very poorly is we should accept and acknowledge the brilliance of beauty pageantry and fashion sort of platforms, and in fact, you bridging that gap is fantastic.
I absolutely agree with you, because I mean, I've got a modeling background as well. I love the whole glamour side of it and the fashion and everything. But, this industry is $1 billion industry, like you've said. And also, even to be a model, you have the resilience you need for rejection and just the sheer determination. And like you said, the discipline, the skill set actually to kind of survive in this industry is quite substantial. And when you have people with longevity in this industry, you got to take your hat off to them, because you just know the hurdles they've actually smashed through, to become top of their game. And again, it's an industry not to be dismissed, because it feeds into a lot of other industries. And it is a great platform, I think, for diversity and inclusion. Probably one of the best platforms to give that message across. But similarly, I think if you have someone gorgeous and beautiful and they look a certain way, it's not to kind of dismiss that, because that's an asset to them.
I think it's incredibly sad that the pendulum sort of swung, right? Because there is something to say about how somebody looks and whatever it is. And I'm not saying this politically incorrectly, right? But I think these conversations, because they've been pushed underground and whatever it is, I've got beautiful Simone here. I think I can say that, can't I, Simone? Without you. So Simone was just here. You can't see Simone. Simone's going to come back on and say hello. I don't know if you know each other.
I've just dropped you a message on LinkedIn.
I feel like she's a bestie, because I follow her. I'm one of her power women. I follow her massively. So I feel like she's a bestie, but I've never met her in person.
Oh, there you go. Pull that chair back up. Let's get you back in. And only because for me, it is about recognizing and appreciating wonderful women and beautiful men like Jalf. Why should that be a bad thing? No, but genuinely, why should there be some hesitancy?
I absolutely agree with you, because I think we can go too much the other way. I think there's a balance to be had. Some people are incredibly intelligent. They invent things. They've got this wonderful brain. Some people just look gorgeous. And that's
How
what they've
come?
got
Can
to
I
bring
just
to this
so,
world. And I just don't think there's a choice. I think we need a balance. There's an
yeah.
invitation for everyone.
Mm,
I think personality and character is gorgeous and beautiful. We have people involved in the catwalk, and it's their character, it's their personality that you fall in love with, and everyone's got so much to offer. But I think sometimes you think, oh, she's so slim, she's beautiful, and it's almost kind of, we don't want that on the catwalk anymore. We don't want that on the magazines. We want to show real people. Well, these people are real people. They just happen to be slimmer. But a lot of these guys take really good care of themselves. Their
yeah.
health and fitness regime
Mm.
is why they look like that.
No, they've invested, right? They've
Yeah,
invested.
invested.
Anyway, on a more serious note, how come like I was complimenting the three of you and not one of you said, "Well, actually, Ammar, you look all right," and whatever else? So, is that
No,
the
listen,
is that like the balance? Is that the balance? Was that you talking about wit and humour, and was
no,
that for
let
my
me tell
benefit? I
you.
was just thinking, brilliant. Thank you
I'm
ever
going to
so
get you
much.
on air
All
now.
right, who needs enemies when we've got like friends like you guys? You know, is the thing.
Last
Anyway.
time I saw you, which was I think a
I
week
swear.
ago. Last time I
I
saw you,
just,
which was a week
anyway, all
ago.
right, you listen, just because I pointed it out, you don't need to start then to forget on the defensive, right?
I asked you last year to model, and you said, "Oh, I'm away. I
No,
can't make it."
it was neither, to be quite frank, it was neither you or Simone that should have said anything, but like this guy that pretends to be my best friend, who's never had my back,
Look, I,
right?
I,
And Jeff?
do you know what? Even if I didn't say it, honestly, I swear to God, I did visualize. I swear to God, I did visualize you on Lisa's catwalk. I did.
Yes, yes.
Hey, all right.
So
I'm
Amma,
doing
I
that.
think I called
Anyway,
you. I think I
joking
called
aside,
you
sorry,
handsome.
no, forget that pause, cut that section. Let's rewind. It wasn't live. No, it is live. Anyway, it's all about having fun is the most important thing. Coming back to the more serious, genuinely serious elements of this, right? Because I think these are the type of conversations you need to have, right? And I equally also feel as if there's a balance, and I loved the fact, Lisa, that you've said this demonstrates inclusion. So people listening, right? People listening to this and people wondering, okay, the fashion ball and Simone, you've got another excuse to come up in a couple of weeks' time.
I'm in.
Right. Is what we'll have. And for me, creating this courageous event, because it takes a lot of courage to create something like this, and B, it takes a lot of conviction to continue with it, despite all of the negatives and all of the, oh my gosh, you can't be talking about inclusion and such like, right? And that you're going to see a post going out today. I was very hesitant in writing it because I just felt it slightly inappropriate. But I'm gonna, I no, because it's the title of it is the bastardization of inclusion, right? It's like there's a really serious message. And then, my son who was here, he's like, "Dad, you can't write that." And my wife, who I never talked to about work, I mean, I never talked to her anyway, about work, is was like, "You can't say that, that's outrageous," and whatever it is. But actually, I genuinely feel that, because inclusion isn't a dirty word. It isn't about, oh, yes, giving people jobs over there. It's about people genuinely feeling included, right?
Yes.
And
yeah,
where and how do people feel the most included is visually. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So as you know, I mean, going back to the Jaff, and I was always where he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm Danny DeVito in Twins, right? Is what I am. So
completely the other way around.
picked out. All right. Anyway, he was always picked first at school for
What?
everything,
That's a
right?
load of
And I
tough.
was always
It
picked
really is.
last. Anyway, right? I was always picked last. In fact, I was like, oh well, we'll have to have him because he's like number 13, and I'm like,
Nah.
oh my gosh. Anyway, the point around this and the serious message of this is quite simple, right? You've created a platform where, despite whatever you look, despite whoever you are, get out of your comfort zone, because if you're there on a catwalk, because normally you would associate a catwalk with beautiful people and whatever it is. And of course, we want to keep encouraging and supporting that. It's incredibly important because of all of the people who have vested and invested in it. And I think that's brilliant. But seeing whoever it is on a catwalk and that sense of achievement and being included from a visual perspective is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's amplification, isn't it? And it's the visibility. We talk, don't we? It's a very well used, isn't it, for quotation. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And you talk about the energy. People will come with that introvert, bring their inner introvert, bring with that, giving that step, giving that platform for you to be able to go, oh my God, I can do that. I never thought I could do that, but I believed I could. She believed she could, so she could. No, what was it? What's that? I can't get that quotation right. She believed she could, so she did.
So she did. Yeah. And the thing about the fashion ball is it's a visual picture instantly. So we don't even have to speak, which is what I love. I'm very visual, but I think when they walk out and you've got men, women, different cultures, backgrounds. And the other thing I do love is we have major competitors up there together. So we have banks, people working for Barclays or NatWest together. We have people from Ward Hadaway, with Squire Patton Boggs together. And these people are competing every day in the week for clients and business. But when it comes to the fashion ball, they are one team. And they behave like one team and they're cheering each other on. They're even talking about work and connection and going to each other's events. For me, the fashion ball breaks down barriers just in that one night. And I just love that visual message, which is, we are stronger together. We are in it together. And why not support each other?
That's inclusion in action, isn't it? Inclusion, totally in action. It breaks down barriers. Exactly as you say, Lisa, that better together. And inclusion isn't a competition. It's not a race.
No.
So I actually wonder if we could use this to extend it. I don't know. I'm just thinking because that's how I think, right? So going back to your point around, there's just some people who are just intelligent and that's all they are, or they're creative, and I'm just reinforcing that. Wouldn't it be great to have sort of Reform and Labour and Conservative and whatever on that platform? And wouldn't it be great to have Islam, Jewish, Judaism? I just feel as if there's almost an aspect of that as well that you could utilise. I mean, as to whether that they did cheer each other on, I don't really know.
Well, have them on the catwalk like Keir Starmer and whatever. Imagine that.
Do you know what? I could get that to work. I bet you I could get that to work. I could do that.
I think we could.
That's the challenge. That's your challenge, Lisa.
I think.
Guys, do we need a trip to London? Do we need to head down to London, guys, as a little team?
Well, actually, I've got a trip on the 24th of June, so let's schedule that in. With all sincerity, I think we could make that happen.
Ammar, why don't you organise one of those trips to Parliament, and then let's see who can conjure up together from the different parties, and then Lisa can do the selling and Simone can do the power talk, and let's make stuff.
Yeah,
it's the power collective. Yeah,
but it's so true. And the other side of that as well is that everybody is choosing their own charity. So, for example, in Leeds at First Direct Arena a couple of weeks ago, we supported 33 charities in that one night. And it's that as well, that's the purpose. We give them a purpose to do this as well, which I think is really important, because all those charities, that they need the awareness, they need the finance, and they need people behind them. So that gives them that as well. But the other exciting thing, what we've done, and Ammar, this is YABC and MPH and everything are partnering with us. We've included a multicultural, a cultural segment into the fashion show, which is celebrating all of the different cultures in fashion. And it brought the house down at the arena last week. And we had Punjabi Roots, the amazing drummers, come out and their MC. And we had over 900 people stood on their feet, literally dancing, while this Asian fashion scene was taking place with all the fashion, beautiful clothes and everything. And the atmosphere was so electric. It was just to watch. It was just insane. And everybody was up cheering. And for me,
Brilliant.
that was one of my favorite scenes. So we're obviously bringing that into all of the other cities.
No, I'm delighted. I know Amit is extensively supporting with Jamie and the team and everybody else. So we're delighted to be supporting you. I think whatever mechanism and I think now is the time for us to raise the profile of inclusion. It's not a
Yeah,
dirty word. It's something that brings people together. It addresses, breaks down barriers. It addresses the barriers and challenges around health, wealth, and happiness.
yeah,
So I'm conscious of time,
yeah.
and I have a couple of other messages that I need to get out. But Lisa, anybody listening, anybody who now you know what, I'm going to get out of our comfort zone, or I'm a business, I want to come along, I just want to experience this and then maybe get involved next time round or whatever it is, because you've got tables and there's a great event going on, isn't there?
22nd of May at the Grand Hotel Gofforth Park.
Yeah.
And again, it's an event we're wanting to grow. And from a business point of view, the networking's amazing. The networking's amazing as well. So we tick a lot of boxes with the event. But yeah, the invitation's open to all businesses, all sectors. Everyone's welcome.
How do they find out more then? I mean, we've got it on actually AB. Check out AB Connections. It'll be in the newsletter. www.abconnections with an x.org. And I'm hoping to see as many people, in particular Jalf, Simone,
and yourself.
there.
Sashaying. I can see you sashaying.
Anyway, Jalf does it.
Ammar's built for the catwalk. He's handsome. He's got charisma.
Anyway, listen, don't try and recover any of that thing.
I said you were handsome last week.
You can't take
you
that.
ran away.
You can't take that segment back. Anyway, no, thank you ever so much, Lisa. We'll get you on the Friday morning whilst you're equally recovering from the Thursday night to talk through. We'll share some pictures and whatever else, and such like, so we can do a bit of a follow up and share with everybody what Jalf wore in his kurta or his shalwar kameez or his sari or whatever, because actually you can be anything you want to be, and that's a different show, is what it is. Right, so we've got talking about inclusion, we've got our Inclusion by Default conference on next Wednesday, 100 people coming together. Are you coming to it, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 14th.
Oh yeah. So that was my other mention. It's a 1 year on conference. So what's happened? 50,000 people have contributed to a survey. There's been lots of roundtable events. There's been a whole host of engagement. And what does inclusion mean from a health, wealth, and happiness perspective? So we're not. We don't want to get that message lost.
No.
And by it focusing on those three core themes, it then impacts everyone. So we're talking to Durham County Council with Reform leading it on, inclusion is for Pit Village white boys, it's for Sally, the single mum, it's for whoever it is. That's what inclusion is all about. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of our show. Super excited for your fashion ball. Looking forward to the conference next week and all of the stuff that we're going to continue to do with Simone and the Super Power Collective.
And I just want to say thank you so much for partnering with us, coming alongside us. And I just think it's fun. Let's keep the fun in inclusion. It's not a boring word. It's not boring. There's a lot of power behind it and a lot of fun.
Great. We're at the end of the show. It's a goodbye from me. Let's get
Until
a quick
next
selfie.
week.
We're there. Quick selfie. 3, 2, 1.
Bye. Bye.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
Take
nice
care.
to see you all.
We'll be back next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.